Welcome to the beautiful walled gardens of Ivy Farmhouse in North Norfolk, in deepest North Norfolk. And I'm going to do today a beautiful dish, very seasonal again, using Norfolk asparagus. And people tell me size isn't everything, but look at them. Jumbo asparagus. I'm also using these beautiful field mushrooms, red onions from Norfolk in season, cucumber, apple, coriander, chilies. It all goes into this fiery oniony mix with beautiful Norfolk asparagus. Okay, take one of your onions and slice it through the diameter, keeping it as whole as you can, not too thin. This is the important thing with this, like so. So you've got it looking like that. And then we'll do another one as well. I'm being particular to make sure I don't cut it too thin. And then we just really let the Infinity grill do its magic. I've got the heat indicator on 350, which, because I'm only using this side, it's actually quite a lot hotter than that. It's a general heat of what it's showing on the grill, but I think it's a little bit of dousing of olive oil on the onion before we drop them onto the grill, just like so. And then carefully, trying to keep them whole, place them on there. Can you hear that? This is the ridged cast iron side of the grill. You could do it on the flat bottom if you wanted to, but I quite like the markings that it gives off. But I am being particularly careful to try and keep it in as much of one piece as I can. Okay, once we've got all them on, we'll give it a light seasoning. Sea salt. Such a good piece of kit. And pepper. And we just let it caramelise. Put the lid back down. So under the Infinity grill is the red onions, and they're going to caramelise quite deeply before I turn them over. And whilst they're on there, I'm just going to snap the asparagus, like so. This is the best way of finding out, how tender it goes down to. If it won't snap, then go a little bit higher. There you go. Okay, they're ready. Let's have a look under the grill. Oh, this is what I'm looking for. Can you see that? Beginning to get that beautiful caramelization, which is exactly, the sugars are coming, the natural sugars are coming out of the onions. Maybe give it a little bit of oil on there. But they're coming on really nicely. Okay, so back onto so I've got my field mushrooms. They'll go onto the grill when the onions are turned off. And then I'm going to just prep up some accompaniments to go with the onions. So some chopped cucumber. I don't know, you might have noticed this knife. It's a very well used knife. Every chef or cook, I'm sure, at home has their own favourite knife, and it's a knife that you go to all the time. And this is mine. Yeah, it doesn't look the best, but I tell you, it's as sharp as sharp. And that's what I look for. So just chopping up some cucumber, about a couple of tablespoons, into a bowl. Then an apple, half an apple chopped, or more, however much you want to put in. Don't bother taking the skin off it. And again, a similar size to the cucumber. Like so. So after the apple, I'm going to chop a couple of chilies. You make this as fiery or as mild as you want to. Quickly chop the chilies because I can smell the onions and nearly ready to come off. I've taken most of the seeds off, but I quite like a few of the seeds on it. So I'm not doing it too finely, deliberately. And then into there. Meanwhile, let's have a look. Whoa. This is a really good piece of kit, I've got to tell you. This is a Norfolk Grills spatula, but it's not one of those dainty little spatulas. It's one of those heavy duty ones, so it's man enough for the job, and the heat isn't too much for your hands. So take them off when they're like this. Can you see that beautiful charred effect? And then they're going straight onto here. Look at these, coming over so nicely. You want that charred effect. Beautiful. Wow. Wow. Sort of your ultimate burger onions they are. As you can see, I've well covered these field mushrooms in butter. Just put them on the back and let them do their thing. Season them lightly. Put the lid down and move swiftly on to garlic. Bit of garlic in there. I am going to transfer it. And then I've got some brown sugar, which I like. The whole reason why I use red onions, apart from the striking colour of them, is that they are sweeter. And I've got a sweet tooth, so I add a little bit of brown sugar to it as well, if I can get into it. Just a bit, not too much. Juice of a lime. Lovely. And then potentially give it a good mix before I add coriander. Shall I move it now? Yeah, go on. We're going. I think this is going to taste really good. Give it a mix. Get all those flavours in there. I think it's building up a good layers of flavours and textures. Okay, next, asparagus. Going across the bias, so I want those grill lines on the asparagus. Just chuck them on. Just grab some of the coriander, not too much this time. Although I do like coriander. Not everybody does though. If you wanted to substitute parsley for coriander, you could easily. Chives or tarragon or anything you want really. It's only because I like coriander that I'm piling it in. But again, a quick chop. Perfect. I'll add that in a minute. Just got to add 2 of my secret ingredients. Soy sauce. Love soy sauce. So it means you don't have to add so much salt if you're adding soy sauce. And fish sauce, well, it's like a non-plough fish sauce. I like it. It's optional, obviously. Bit of that. Coriander going in there. Oh, go on. Why not? Give it a really good mix now. Oh, smelling amazing. Infinity Grill is doing its thing. I think the mushrooms are going to be just about there. But before anything else, you know what I'm going to do? I've got to taste it. got to taste it for seasoning. That's lush. It's fiery, it's lush. Use my Norfolk Grills spatula. I just want to show you that. I think I've found a brilliant method of cooking field mushrooms on the barbecue. Well, it's on the Norfolk grill. Look at it, it's still moist. It's beautiful. I'll see if my asparagus need turning. I want the asparagus to be cooked, not al dente. I don't know if you can see, they're beginning to get that wonderful caramelisation. And quickly back on. Give them a turn. A touch more olive oil. That should just about do it. A little touch of olive oil to finish off this salad. I think we're just about there to almost serve. Asparagus are nearly there. Oh. I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you, when I do vegetarian cooking, I don't have to do it well. I'm just saying. Because I would sit and eat this extremely happily. And it's healthy. Right, we need to get a move on with this because we don't often get a lot of rain in Norfolk, but it is starting to rain now. So let's get on with this. Let's take the mushrooms from the top, still piping hot. I mean really hot. Look at these, so juicy, so beautiful. A little bit butter in them. Lovely. And then the asparagus, charred beautifully. This could potentially be my ultimate way of serving asparagus. No messing about. Cooked on the griddle. Lightly seasoned. Pile of them. A little bit of dressing. Let me check that dressing. Like I say, I think these two combinations go together so well. You've got to trust me with this. Even if you wanted to serve them with a meat dish or a fish dish, it's perfect. It really is perfect. I can't let it go unless I have a little tiny bit of each thing. So a bit of mushroom, a little bit of asparagus, and a little bit of this on the top. And I'll tell you. It's hot. Asparagus is amazing. I've surprised myself because that's really good, really good. But think about, you can use that as an accompaniment or you can eat it like it is. There we are, Norfolk asparagus, field mushrooms, fiery onions. Norfolk Infinity Grill, thank you. You performed very well, thank you.